Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning back in to Songwriter Sunday. I'm Chase Wardian, and today we got special guest Dave Rudolf.
I feel so special.
You know, I had the pleasure of meeting Dave a few weeks ago when we were at Smokey Joe's doing a taping for our new show, It's Jam Night. That episode will be coming out shortly after this episode airs, so
Well,
it'll be a whole week of you.
I'm so happy. I feel like Sally Field. They do love me. They do love me.
All right, well, tell me about yourself, Dave.
I'm a performer. Been for 50 years now. I'm old. Still have my teeth though, which is nice.
Oh, it's always a plus.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but
You know, the
I
guy
have to get up a lot in the middle of the night. What do you do?
Hey, the guy next door, he builds dentures.
Hey, it's a one-stop place here, right? Come and do a show and get dentures at the same time. That's
Absolutely, yeah, we got that bundle.
great. Yeah, exactly. And you should add like a proctologist on the other side.
Right.
For all of the. Anyway, so I've been performing for 50 years. I had a weird career. I've done, back in the day, I started out doing the folk scene, and that stuff. And then I did Earl of Old Town and all those traditional things. And then I started touring colleges. That's what I mostly did.
Okay.
Mostly 80s, 90s. Own a fairly big agency I booked called Toonsmith. And then in the 90s, I also started writing for Disney. I've got gold records with them and Grammys from them. And then I also did the pilot for the all-new Captain Kangaroo. I was supposed to be the Captain Kangaroo for Saban. And been doing writing, and a lot of my funny stuff is on Dr. Demento and some stuff on my TV. A lot of my stuff's on. I had a new song an old song is on a new movie this summer called Black Conflicts. That's the movie. And I got a couple other songs placed in some other ones. So I primarily consider myself singer-songwriter.
Okay.
So,
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So as far as your albums go, where do you stand with that?
I got 40 now.
Yeah.
And I believe in quantity over quality. And I'm working on the 41st now, right now. Actually, it's probably going to be two that I'm working on, two different ones. But I like to write. I'm a prolific writer.
Okay. When did you start writing?
The first couple years you start writing, comes harder. Right?
Yeah.
It takes a while. But my first album was in 73.
Okay.
And then 76. It was much harder to make albums back in the old days.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because, you didn't have the computers and the stuff. So,
Right.
Which is an advantage and a disadvantage. It's an advantage in that not as much stuff is out there on the airwaves, and it's more selective from a hearing standpoint. But on disadvantage, it costs a lot of money to make a record.
Yeah.
And not as many people got to do it. So there was a lot of really good artists who never were discovered.
Absolutely.
So.
No, I was going to say, because when we met, you said, I knew the whole 40 album thing. We did the short interview there,
Yeah.
but like that blows my mind. Like, it's
partially, I'm 71, so
Yeah.
I've been around for a long time.
That might do it.
Yeah.
No.
Youth has its advantages.
Fair. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what it's like at all to try and record analog or whatsoever, because I started here about 3 years ago, and I only ever learned Pro Tools and recording on a computer and right in, so I don't know what it was like to do the reel-to-reel, the tape, like...
It's some people are real enamored of the old tape feel, I guess you would say. And that's from like the wow and flutter of the disc and stuff, or the groove on a record and stuff like
Sure.
that. And some of that is nostalgia rather than actual, but some of it's actual tone. But they've got emulators now in the, which like tape emulators that make it sound really good. It was a little pristine when they first came out with digital. But I'll tell you, it is so much easier because I had those machines. I have a recording studio too, and I started out with the big machines. And the first albums I recorded, I did a '79 album was done at the Playboy Club up in Lake Geneva. What a wonderful studio!
Wow.
Never saw any Playgirls too, and I was really upset.
Yeah,
Bunnies, they were wandering in. I'm such a pig. But anyway, But those models were hard to do because now I have the old tapes and some of them are not good anymore because you have to bake them, and they have erosion on that kind of stuff. If you made a mistake and punched in at the wrong place, there wasn't an undo back then. Yeah. There weren't 99 levels of undo like this year.
Right.
And so, and cut and paste was not a thing unless you were in the Beatles and they were doing all kinds of innovative stuff. That's another thing. Most people don't realize how much the Beatles changed recording, not only music, but recording. They were really one of the first bands to write a lot of their own stuff, but they were also, the stuff they did in the studio, if you're ever interested in it, I'm not saying you should check it out. George Martin and those guys were geniuses. They were the first one to do tape loops. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, they did the first ones to do tape loops. They were the first one to do feedback on a record. They were the first one to do backwards recording on a record.
Wow.
They did all of this really innovative stuff. First one to incorporate stuff like sitars and stuff in modern music and stuff.
Okay.
They did so much for music that's not even funny.
Wow, that's... Yeah, no, I had no clue. I mean...
Well, you weren't of the time. I mean, you shouldn't be expected to, but if you're a purveyor of music and stuff, it's really interesting to read some stuff about them.
No, very cool. I'll have to look in.
Yeah.
No. So, how does your songwriting process go? Because obviously, well, now you went from back in the day into now. Has anything really changed? Do you keep the same concept, or has it changed with the times?
Well, you mean texturally, or well, as process-wise, to me, and I actually run workshops on writing and stuff.
Okay.
It's a muscle as much as anything else. It's like an athlete doesn't go out and all of a sudden can shoot, 80% free throws. You got to practice. So you develop muscles and you develop habits as a writer that when you first sit down, it's intimidating. You got a blank piece of paper or on a computer screen or however you write.
Right.
And you go, oh man, I don't know about that word. Should I get that word? Or what words do I use? What kind of chord patterns do I do? And you have a tendency, well, maybe I should put a diminished chord in here just to make it more. But then eventually you'll learn how to write. All writers will tell you that too, like a novelist, that you sit down and you take time and then you write. You'll write a lot of crap before you write anything good. So you just got to keep at it, and the process becomes easier and easier as you go along. I also would tell people starting out to listen to all kinds of music.
Oh, yeah.
To get influences from stuff. Most music is melting pot stuff anyway.
Absolutely.
So, and then also study how people that you like write things. For example, like James Taylor has stuff that he does like... That's a James Taylor thing.
Right.
Yeah, so you'll learn tendencies of stuff of different people, and that can influence how you write too.
Gotcha. So do you use, I guess, like when it comes to the ideas, like do you have lyrics first? Do you have your chords first? Like how does the build of a particular song come?
Well, for me personally, it's kind of all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
So, like I was talking in before in the thing, I wrote a song completely about Texas colloquialisms.
Right.
They have so much funny ones, like butter my butt and call me a biscuit. So I wrote a whole song called I've Been Thinking About Drinking, and it's all of that stuff. So in that case, the lyrics came first.
Okay.
But then I'll play around with a chord pattern. I go, ooh, that's a nice chord pattern. Where do I go with that? So then the music influences where the lyrics go.
Gotcha.
And that's an important part that beginning songwriters should always do, that the mood of the song should really influence where the lyric goes, or the lyric should influence the kind of music you do.
Gotcha.
You don't want to do a happy, minor stuff is more the slower, pensive stuff. Major stuff is usually the happier stuff, but not always. But I mean, if you're writing something, la, 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 well, there's going to be more hefty tone in the stuff. You're not saying, I want to take you to the dance. That doesn't work.
Right.
Unless it's a dance of death.
Right.
Wow.
No,
got dark quickly, didn't it?
Oh yeah, no. There's always those weird exceptions because what's the one that always comes to my mind is like Every Breath You Take.
Oh, yeah.
with the police, because
The Stalker song.
right, yeah, no, I was gonna say you listen to the song, you're like, yeah, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, that or
That is creepy. But then they can also use that for parody. I write a lot of funny tunes too.
Okay.
A lot of my stuff's been on Dr. Demento, if anybody knows Dr. Demento anymore. But so sometimes you'll do that for effect. You'll have like "Here Comes Santa Claus," and you do it in metal thing. So, or and I've done a bunch of parodies of that kind of stuff too. Santa Claus is coming to town. I do Santa Claus is running through town. They hijacked his sleigh from the roof where it stood. So you can play with the concept, and then it plays the kind of style you're writing in, or you could have a really Happy Joe, anything that's really, so you're parodying the situation. So that's interesting too.
oh yeah,
There's lots of different kinds of parody you can get into. There are like about 4 or 5 different styles of parody if you ever want to talk about that too.
oh yeah. I was gonna say, because I know, the one that always came to mind was Weird Al.
Weird Al, yep. Yoda and all that stuff. He started out with Yoda. He's actually a really good musician too.
Oh, absolutely.
And his videos are great too.
Oh yeah, no, that's where I when YouTube first started to pop off. That's where I discovered him.
Yeah.
Because granted, I was born in '99, and so
You're young.
yeah. No, I turned 22 in a couple weeks.
Wow.
But I don't remember. I think it was Close But No Cigar.
Yeah.
I think it was that song that I saw the music video for first.
Oh, he's got some great ones. Amish Paradise is hilarious. Yabba 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 Do Now to the Give It Away Now.
Yep.
That one's great. And then Happy is really good. The sappy one he's got.
That is good.
So he's got some great ones. But he understands the medium. Okay. And there's a good example of the Amish Paradise. So you're mixing which I always thought was funny, by the way. That who was the guy who did the original version of it?
It was Wonder. Was
not
it Stevie?
Chameleon. What was it?
Was it Stevie Wonder?
No, it was a rapper that did to Amish.
Gangster Paradise. That's Coolio.
Coolio, was it Coolio?
It was Coolio, but
and he was complaining about it, and he stole the riff from somebody else.
Yeah, no, I think
place.
he stole it from. I want to say it was Stevie Wonder. I might be wrong on that.
It could very well be, but see, he understood the situation, because what he did is he juxtaposed, from a writing standpoint, gangster kind of a thing onto an Amish setting, which makes it funny in of itself.
Oh yeah.
And then the video just plays it to that so well.
It so well, yeah.
I mean, so that's a parody on several levels on that. And like if you think about Disney movies like Shrek or something like that, they operate on 2 levels. When I wrote my kids' stuff, I tried to write on 2 levels. So there's jokes that the parents get that the kids will never get.
Right.
But they like the other stuff. So they're writing on the kids' level, but they're throwing in stuff for the adults.
The stuff that goes over the kids' heads.
Yeah, so during my kids' shows, for example, I'll do stuff like, if Neil Young did a kid song, I'll do... Old man, he played knick-knack on my thumb.
Okay.
So you're playing along with that. So.
Absolutely. No, that's very cool. I say that I'm sure it just comes with years of experience. I couldn't.
Well, there's different experience too. Being on stage is a different experience. Like,
right.
Sometimes you don't even, like, I'll play venues where I don't do any of my own original material because it's not the venue to do it. And I do a British Invasion show because it's interesting to me, and I don't do any original material during that. But I do talk about the history of it and stuff, so it's very fascinating to me, and music I love. But as you get on stage, you learn certain things about how to perform. That's one thing. And then writing is another thing separately. So you could oftentimes will write stuff that you'll never do live.
Okay.
Because it's, say, if I'm a solo and I write it for a band, I won't be able to pull it off live.
Right.
So you have to think in those terms too as a writer too.
Gotcha. Interesting. So what's this first song you're gonna play for us?
I was trying to keep busy during the pandemic, so I wrote 3 albums. The first one came out February of 2020, which was kind of as it was beginning. But a lot of the songs were influenced by political. I don't like to usually be right out and say things. I like to do story. I think story stuff is not in your face. Then you can get, if you talk to people pleasantly and instead of yelling at people. There's so much yelling, so much crazy and vitriol in the air. So a lot of my stuff was influenced by that. And this is off that first album. The other one came out in September, and then the new one came out in June.
Gotcha.
This one is about people just being kinder to each other. That's all. But told through a story. Marie is loading groceries into a beater of a car, of which she barely makes a payment with her paycheck at the bar. The kids are loudly fighting, her bag of items rips apart. She starts sobbing so softly, it's just the last stab at her heart. A stranger sees her troubles and collects her scattered foods. The simple act of kindness will always do some good. It wasn't a grand gesture, it was a simple task. But for those few fleeting moments, it was more than she could ask. An easing of a burden, an awareness she was there. It only took a few seconds to show her someone cared. It takes so little effort to brighten someone's day. A simple act of kindness, a hand along the way. It takes so little effort to brighten someone's day. A simple act of kindness, a hand along the way. A hand along the way.
All right, so very cool. So you said you wrote that that album came out at the beginning of the pandemic.
Correct, but we also had all of the Trump and all the other stuff that was
Right.
going on, so that was a kind of response to
Oh, yeah.
the vitriol. You know, Facebook and all that stuff, it just feeds in and they're like echo chambers.
Oh, yeah. No. How long does it take you to... Do you have, like, an average write time for a song? Like, how fast does that come out?
No, I'm usually pretty quick writer.
Okay.
The thing about songwriting is that you can get bogged down into the minutia. So you start something, you go, I don't have the right phrase for that. I'm not what things, and they'll keep going over and over and over and over the same thing. And what I recommend is that people just drop it for a while, keep it on the side, go on something else, and then come back to it, because you'll come up with fresh ears, fresh thought, or
Sure.
you may have something that occurs in between.
Okay.
So that way I'm able to write stuff. I usually write down musical ideas. I keep notes. I have a little program on my phone that
Okay.
I write down the ideas on. And then I have a notebook that I write, or in my phone, I'll write down a concept or a phrase, which will trigger a song.
Okay.
One of the songs I'll do in a little bit is a song that a phrase just came to me, and I thought it was such a cool phrase. It's the roadkill of love. So I wrote a song based on, the roadkill of love, and you go, oh, what can I do with that?
Yeah.
And so then I wrote a whole song based on that because I thought it was a cool concept, and I hadn't heard it before. So.
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, if I came up with that, I'm sure I'm do something with it. Yeah.
So it could be either way, and but again, it's practice. You got to keep at it. But I write fast, so once I sit down, like I've got some started for the new album, and I usually leave a month or two off after I've just put out the last album before I really tackle writing again.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of in the release and all the other stuff.
Sure.
But then I start sitting down because you force your stuff. Even, I don't have to do this anymore. I'm at the point of age and, I've made quite a bit of money touring nationally and on colleges and stuff. So I don't have to do it. I'm even doing a few bars, which I haven't done in 40 years.
Wow.
Just to do it, like Smokey Joe's.
Yeah.
That's a local thing for me, and I'm trying to help him because I'm booking his Friday nights now.
Oh, okay.
So I know many musicians, so I just bring in the best of the very best. We just had Dan Peters there, who was like phenomenal guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
So it's labor of love for me at this point.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, very cool. The one thing that's been sitting in my head, you mentioned...
I didn't do it, I swear. I'm innocent.
You mentioned you wrote for Disney. How did that happen?
Let's see if I remember exactly the thing of that. I did a TV pilot for children's stuff. I started writing kids. I had kids of my own, and I started writing for kids. I'd go to kid shows, and they were god-awful. And they always played above the kids, or they, were so sappy it was. So I started writing for kids. I started winning awards on some of my albums for my kids' albums.
Okay.
So of my 40 albums, like 13 of them are kids' albums.
Wow.
And I had like the number one hit in children's music in the Chicagoland area called Aunt Sarah's Got a Booger, and it's stuck up on her nose. So I did songs, and I won some awards, and then we did a TV pilot, a self-made TV pilot called Fun Island, which was shopped around to L.A.
Okay.
And they saw that, and they say, you'd be good for our new Captain Kangaroo, but also Disney saw it and said, yeah, can you write some stuff for us? That's interesting because it was spec writing. Have you ever done spec writing?
I have not.
Okay, spec writing is they come to you and they'll say, okay, we have this idea. We want to do a children's album with Irish songs. I go, what? And so you would write a bunch of stuff and kind of small produce them, then send them out to them. And they go, yeah, we changed our mind. So you did all this stuff. It's like, what? But I wrote for a couple of the movies and always made it up to George of the Jungle. That was that time of the George of the Jungle and Flubber.
Okay.
And I can't remember. A couple other ones, the Robin Williams one. But anyway, I would make it all the way to the final thing, and then the producer would go, I'm going to put one of my songs out there because you make a lot of money off of movie stuff. But then they asked me to write for songs from 100 Acre Woods, which was a Winnie the Pooh. So I wrote a bunch of stuff, and I had 3 in the final and a couple that ended up on the album.
Oh, very cool.
And that one, that was up for, that album was up for Grammys and stuff too.
Wow.
So, and I wrote that and that stuff too. And I then, I've had a lot of weird little stuff too, like Second City in Chicago did a Saturday matinee show for kids based entirely on my music called it's Tale of Two Kitties.
Huh.
Yeah, Dave Sinker and stuff. So, I've done a bunch of different stuff because I love challenging myself as a writer. You can't be afraid to try stuff.
Right.
I never acted before. I did the pilot, but, I'm going, what am I supposed to do? They didn't help matters. They had 2 directors on the stage. One's going, be yourself. And the other one's going, no. And the other one's going, you got to be sing-songy. Like, hi, boys and girls. How are you? And I'm going, well, which is it? Because that ain't me.
Right.
That ain't me. I'm sarcastic.
Yeah.
I got a kid acting up on stage, and I'll go, hey, Damien. I'm not going to. I'm not a warm and cuddly. Well, I'm not bad. I act like a goofball. That's why kids love me when I'm on stage. I'm doing voices, and I've done voice work too. So for toys and stuff like, hello, how you doing? You know, and stuff and goofy stuff. So the kids love that.
Right.
They love it when you make fun of yourself. But I'm not the, hi, boys and girls. How are you doing today? It's like, nope.
And there's certain people that can do that, but like, that's not.
I know. I'm not the Barney guy.
No.
I love you, you love me.
No.
Which is really stupid because that's just a rip-off of another song. Yeah.
Is
the
it?
Barney. Oh, yeah. Let's see, what is it? This old man, he played one.
Okay.
Dylan should do that. This old man, he played one. He played knick-knack and my thumb. Sorry. I got distracted. I'm sorry. We went off the rails there.
No, that's fine. No, and now that you say that, like if the Barney thing, it does kind of click to me a little more. Like some of the songs, like
they were all remakes of other songs.
Yeah.
There was no creativity at all in that thing.
Huh.
They relied on this big purple dinosaur.
Right. No, between that, I feel like the Wiggles did it a couple times here and there.
Did too.
But I remember them like playing the older songs too.
Yeah.
Like that was different with them.
Well,
but,
and if you watch those things, here's a little tip for you people at home. A lot of those songs are in the public domain because they didn't want to pay any.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I did the pilot for the Captain Kangaroo, they go, we love your songs. You've got great songs. But if you do one on our show, we own it. We become the property. We own all the rights. I go, that ain't happening.
No.
So they scrambled on the thing to find like poems. I have an award-winning kids book too. They're gonna do poems out of my kids book, and then I go, no, I'm not giving you that stuff.
No.
How stupid do you think I am? And so they would go to the library while I was down there for a 3-day shoot on the pilot. They sent people to the library to find books in the public domain. Saban is notoriously cheap. Saban makes the. I don't know if you knew this. Saban made the Power Rangers stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So do you know the story about Power Rangers?
Oh, how the Japanese show and they just took and reshot the American scenes.
Yeah, the American scenes. And the kids at the end of the first year said, "Can we get a raise?" Because they don't pay squat. What they were offering me was ridiculous. And they said, nope. And then they launched everybody and we'll just put new Power Rangers in.
Because they replaced 3 people. And it's funny. It's crazy that you brought that up because I literally just had a video come up in my recommended that I watched like a week ago about like the original.
Yeah.
How they went. Because, they changed the 3 of the 5.
Yeah.
Or 6 because I guess one of them was in there. But then some of them stayed.
Right.
For like multiple series of the show. But and then it was just Saban's Power Rangers. But I think they were saying now they were getting the workers union because that was the big thing. They didn't have the actors union or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's why they were able to get away with a lot of that stuff.
Well, they're notoriously cheap. They're known for that. And so it was an interesting experience. I thought people would know what they were doing when I went out there. Mm-hmm. And when I get out there, I realize, they don't really know what they're. At least this company is flying by the seat of their pants.
Right.
So.
No, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's
my experience there.
Yeah. No, that's. So, what do you do now? Because were you just a full-time musician always, or did you have another job while you did all that?
No, I was a full-time musician.
Really? Okay.
I graduated from college, and for 2 years, I did music part-time.
Okay.
No, 3 years. And then I started working full-time as a musician. I toured from about 76 on until 2012. I was doing colleges. I mean, I just did tons of colleges.
Okay.
Colleges. I would not want to be a musician starting out right now because it's not a great landscape for to play live. And bars are pretty much paying about what they did when I was first starting out, which is ridiculous. And in bars, they're great to play. And it depends on what your I don't want this to sound demeaning. I don't mean it to be at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you just love playing and you want to play, bars are great. And it gets you a chance to be out there and and play and hone your skills and stuff.
Sure.
But from a career standpoint, they really don't do much for you. Mm-hmm. And I always try to encourage people to think outside of the box.
Yeah.
That what makes you completely different than anybody else that's out there. So if you're a band, and also don't be linear in your thoughts. I've advised a lot of bands. My nephew came to me when he was first starting out, and they had a band called Allwyn, and they were doing all original stuff. And they were saying, well, what should we do? And I go, well, you ain't going to make any money as an original. There's just no places. The places that'll hire you don't pay anything. And I said, what you should do is keep the Allwyn thing and then find something that you can sell as a thing to make your money.
Okay.
So they did Fortunate Sons, which is, I don't know if you've ever heard them. They're really good. He's the drummer in there. They're great. And they do a great job of the Creedence Clearwater and stuff. So they're touring nationally. So that's where they make their money, and then they can do their side projects of their original stuff.
Gotcha.
There's no reason you can't be in multiple bands.
Oh, yeah.
Who says you can't?
Guys, if you have the time, then go for it.
It's not even the time. It's the desire to do that stuff. Just do stuff that you like.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This is a job. It's not only a job. It's something, you got to feel passionate about and love.
Oh, yeah.
So me, I was doing, when I went to the college circuit, there was all these good-looking young guys doing sincere music. And the young girls, the people who hire you in college market are like students. So all these young girls are going, oh, he's so dreamy, let's hire him. And then they look at me and they go, not so much. So I said, okay, I'll be the fool. So I did all the funny stuff, and I worked tons. and I enjoyed doing that, and I was good at writing that. But in the meantime, I wrote all my serious stuff too.
Gotcha.
I wrote the kids stuff, I wrote the other stuff, and I made albums, and then eventually I'm back to just doing mostly adult stuff now.
Oh, cool. So what's this next song you're going to play for us?
Okay, this is an example of a humor tune.
Okay.
And it's also an example of stuff writing to your age appropriateness too. Because, like I have a couple Christmas parody albums, which Demento plays a lot of stuff with things like, you'd think they get a clue. Say Nick comes down their flue. If you want gifts this year, then don't scorch Santa's rear. Santa fell into a burning flue of fire. It went down, 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 and the flames rose higher. And it burns, 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 the flue of fire. Santa's butt's on fire. But that's like one of the... We also have the Little Dumber Boy and O Come, I Read the Manual. Do You Fear What I Fear? Drunken Hunter Shooting Down Right There. But this song is about as you age, and I'm a senior, so there's a lot of things that change. And this is a song kind of making fun of the thing. So it's kind of, you'll hear it. You young people out there will not understand this. You're getting old when your body starts creaking. You're getting old when your memory's leaking. When you can grow hair on your rear, in your nose and in your ears, but on your head it's disappeared. Let's face it, you're old. When a Boy Scout tries to help you cross the street, and your beer gut's so big you can't see your feet. When you getting lucky means finding your lost keys. When gravity becomes your enemy, then you're getting old. When your body starts creaking, you're getting old. When your memory's leaking. When you're grunting to tie your shoes and your back goes out more than you. When you hate things 'cause they're new. Let's face it, you're old. when you wear black socks with your sandals, and your birthday cake costs less than the candles, when you're spending twice as long to look just half as good, when you're thinking about prunes more than you should, then you're getting old. When your body starts creaking, you're getting old. When your memory's leaking, when you can grow hair on your rear, in your nose and in your ears, but on your head it's disappeared. Let's face it, you're old. When your idea of weightlifting is standing up, when you can't remember the drink that's in your cup, when you're looking for your glasses and you find them on your head, when you're looking the obits to see who's dead, then you're getting old. When your body starts creaking, you're getting old. When your memory's leaking, when you're running to tie your shoes and your back goes out more than you, when you hate things 'cause they're new, let's face it, you're old.
That was a very different song than what we've had on the show before.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. That was...
Yeah, look what you got to look forward to, right? 22-year-old, yeah, young whippersnapper, you.
Yeah, no, I'm not, see, I got the beer gut going. My back ain't doing too good. So we're climbing. We're climbing.
You can see the writing on the wall, right? Yeah, I can see the writing on the wall when she kept staring at the ceiling.
Right.
That's right. I had a line in a song called, and I had actually pulled it from some other place. I didn't write that line, but I put it in a song. It's, I'm still missing you, but my aim is getting better. I love that line. It's not very nice, but I'm sorry, it's still funny.
Not everything has to be nice, right?
No.
So, you say you've played a lot of places. Where do you think your your favorite venue or location to play was so far?
Well, I've done a lot of weird shows and stuff, but fun shows. I mean, I've opened for Cheech and Chong back in the day, believe it or not. I've opened for I've done a lot of opening acts. I opened for the Beach Boys, who couldn't sing, by the way.
What?
Smothers Brothers. Oh God, they're awful. Not Smothers Brothers are great, but
the Beach Boys.
Oh my God, they were bad. Well, the worst one I ever opened for was Mamas and Papas. And they weren't really the Mamas and Papas anymore. They only had one original member left. Oh. When I did a show with them, they had Denny McLean, I think that was his name. He was the only original member. They had the person who did Spanky from Spanky and Our Gang was in there. They had some ringer woman, and then Scott McKenzie who did If You're Going to San Francisco. That was the Mamas and Papas, that supposedly.
Supposedly.
They sounded like a lounge act because, like some old singers, when they get old, I've been fortunate, but I sing a lot, so it helps. They lose their tone, pitch control, especially at the end of phrases. So you'll hear, especially like they do the lounge thing. If you're going, the Ethel Merman, they do the vibrato thing because they can't sing anymore.
Right.
So they were all doing that, and it was all different. So,
oh no!
All leaves are brown and the sky. It was one of the funniest things I ever saw. But to answer your question, I got off the track again. I like doing all kinds of stuff. I like to play different shows, and I like small venues where it's an intimate audience, at like a small theater. Mm-hmm. Those are probably my favorite.
Okay.
Or a small, like a listening room, where they're there to actually do it. You can do your own material. You can just they don't really care what you do as long as you do it well.
Yeah.
So if I decide to do an old Animal song, they're not, oh my God, he's not doing original material. I got 40 albums. I could do original material all night, but sometimes I like doing other stuff.
Sure.
So I would guess that would be my favorite venues to play. And nice small theaters. I've done a lot of those. Those are really nice.
Gotcha. And then I know we touched on it. Where were some of the weirder ones?
I've had so many weird shows. I've had weird things happen in shows. I've had stages collapse on me while I was on them. I had a gorilla come on stage once.
Wait.
Not a real gorilla, but a guy in a gorilla suit come on stage.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I should have clarified, right?
Yeah.
Wait, where did that come from? Oh. It was an animal act.
Okay.
No, it wasn't an animal act. It was the school mascot at the college. He just wandered on stage, and I'm going, what the? It's like in the middle of the show.
Oh, okay.
And then I've had, the hardest shows to do are occasionally they'll have you MC stuff.
Okay.
And they don't know what they're doing, like a battle of the bands. I did one at a college once. Okay, and to understand the thing of a battle of the bands, they're there to see their friends play, right?
Right.
They're amateurs. They don't understand the etiquette. So they'll overplay their time. Then they take forever to get off stage because all of their friends are up around the stage.
Right.
You're supposed to fill in time during that. And they keep going like this, stretch, stretch, stretch. So you're up there about 3 hours. They go, then by about the second hour, they're going, why is this guy back up there? I don't want to see him. I want to see my rock and roll buddy.
Right.
So this one guy with a guitar walks out there and it's like, okay. So those are challenging shows, let's put it that way. So. But yeah, I've done pretty much anything you could imagine where you get to a point. I've been to colleges where they go, oh yeah, you're supposed to be here. It's like, okay, this is going to be a good show. And another place, I remember this was at St. Norbert's College up in Dupere, Wisconsin. I get there and they go, I don't know if anybody's going to show up because we're having a kegger on campus. I go, one kegger is going to affect your thing? And yeah, it did, because it was a small college. One kegger. I'm going, whoa, beer outsells me.
God, it's hard to beat a kegger, man. I mean.
I know. Well, I had no respect.
Granted, I didn't go to college, but.
Yeah, there's nothing matter with that. No. Whatever you want.
No, I'm doing a lot of stuff on the side, but I mean.
You went to the College of Life.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah. It's not necessary for everybody.
No, and then...
I never was an elitist about that.
No. But I did have my fair share of parties and stuff just because all my other friends went to college.
See,
and so...
you got all the fun and none of the study.
Exactly.
Oh,
see, I feel like
you're smart.
I'm the smart one.
That's right.
My friend who's a rocket scientist going to Purdue, it's like, yeah, I'm getting your parties, but not working for it.
Exactly
so
right. I'm here in animal husbandry until they caught me at it. What? Huh?
Own the name of the game, right?
Yep.
All right. So what's this third one you're gonna play for us?
This is the one I was telling you where this is kind of about an idea came to my head.
Okay.
The Roadkill of Love. And then I figured, okay, what can I do around it? Also, stylistically, my music is all over the place genre. You'll get rock stuff. You'll get, I've written a kids bossa nova song. I've written.
Kids bossa nova.
I know. And,
right.
And then I've done, I love all kinds of music. So I have like island albums, like music, beach music and stuff.
Yeah.
From reggae to soca and kind of Jimmy Buffett kind of things. Then I have funny albums. Then I have a R&B album I wrote called Pale Soul. Then I have a British Invasion album, which is the old British stuff. And then it's a lot of singer-songwriter stuff, so finger picking and stuff. But I've always been, I love to write different kinds of music, so that I don't like to write the same thing all the time.
Gotcha.
So this one, it's kind of a slinky one, and I do it. So it's based on a roadkill of love. So starting with that premise, I wrote these lyrics. You ran me over, just let me here in the dirt. There's still tracks on my forehead, my heart still stings from the hurt. I'm just a road killer, love, rejected, scorned, and rebuffed. My heart just wasn't enough. I'm just a road killer, love. I should have known that it might turn out this way. The road was fitted with poor souls that you had left on the way. I'm just a road killer, love, rejected, scorned, and rebuffed. My heart just wasn't enough. I'm just a road killer, love. Yeah, a road killer, love. But in my delusional cravings, I thought that I would survive. Now I'm a fool in your taillights, whose soul is barely alive. I'm just a road killer, love, rejected, scorned, and rebuffed. My heart just wasn't enough. I'm just a road killer, love. Now I'm a stain on a floor, I'm just a bug on a grill. But for those moments you're with her, you can't deny it's a thrill. I'm just a road killer, love, rejected, scorned, and rebuffed. I had to love was enough. I'm just a road killer, love. Road killer, love. I'm just a road killer, love. I'm just a road killer, love.
Yeah, no, I see how you definitely took that one line and turned it into a song. Then that's
And,
very cool.
And the lyrics all kind of stay within the context of that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
No, so where can people find you as far as social media?
Are you talking about stalking me or what? Is it that bad?
Yeah.
Where can they find you and make you punished for this?
What's your address, the last four of your social, and the security code on the back of your credit card?
588-2300. Empire. How many people does that run in Indiana? That commercial?
Yeah, that
Empire.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
It does.
Because if I would do that, I would do some joke like that. They're regional jokes. They don't work in other areas. You go in Texas and go, "What the hell's that boy talking about?" Hey, hello, y'all. Okay.
Y'all.
Yeah. So, well, DaveRudolf.com. DaveRudolf.com. That's F, not PH. I'm not pH balanced. F is in fantastic. Also, YouTube has a bunch of my stuff. iTunes. Most of my 40 albums are on iTunes,
Okay.
Amazon.Prime. The funny ones and the kids ones and the other stuff too. So there's a lot of venues. YouTube has a lot of this stuff. And I have some videos on there, some from the new albums and stuff like that too. If you're interested in that, that's a new thing I'm getting into. I'm doing more and more videos.
Very cool.
And you can see me as there's on my if you do a search for Dave Rudolf as Captain Kangaroo, you can see me in the Captain Kangaroo suit too.
Oh, yeah, no, that might be a gold mine right there.
I know. Blackmail.
Yeah.
We'll release this, Dave.
So, you mentioned the stuff's up on streaming platforms. Do you prefer the streaming platforms? Do you like the physical copies? What do you...
That's another thing that's kind of bad about music these days for young artists and stuff, and even for myself too. CDs have become less viable as a unit. Last year was the first year since the 80s that vinyl outsold CD. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not actually, but it kind of doesn't surprise me because for some reason vinyl like kicked back.
Well, there's two reasons: the hipsters and the old people. What an odd couple that is, right?
Right.
Hey, yeah, cool. But check out my plaid shirt. So anyway, that's just a blip. I think that's not going to occur because there's so much problems with vinyl.
Yeah.
God, I remember carrying them around to shows, and they would warp in the back seats and go, damn it. Can't sell those. And they scratch, and there's other stuff. You're relying upon the needle, having a good needle, having a good, so it's much more complicated. But the problem is, ever since Napster, they've devalued, it's not just musicians, but all artists. They're in the process of devaluing art. So Napster said, hey, free, who cares?
Yeah.
What does it matter that you spent all this time and money to produce this and all this effort, hours writing it and stuff? It should be free to us. And so, if you think about Spotify and all those things, you make 0.001 cent per play.
Yeah.
You have to 1,000 plays before you make a penny.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But the people and they all say, oh, yeah, but the people who run Spotify and stuff, Napster, are multi-millionaires.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody's making the money off of it, and it's not the musicians. So it's not fair. The scope is not fair. And people, I understand the ease and the convenience of it, but it's also not as good quality either because a CD is a much higher bit rate, and it's a much higher, those are 44.1K, and they're way lower than that on
Spotify, yes.
or on any streaming platform except for the one you're
I
mentioning.
think Tidal does it now, or I know Tidal does it now. You have to pay more for it. Shocker.
Yeah.
But I think Tidal was started by a bunch of musicians. Now, granted, like Jay-Z and all them, and so I think to try and get more money to the musician, I think that's why
It is,
started.
but then again, it is very the gateway to that. To be as a musician to Tidal is a little more difficult if I'm correct. I think it is.
Yeah.
So in other words, not everybody can have their stuff on Tidal.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yep. So Tidal can go at 44.1 or at master of the 24-bit.
The master.
Like master quality audio reflects the original source and can stream.
So
up
that'd be
this.
like 44.1. All CDs are 44.1.
Yeah. Okay. So
Masters are usually 40. Well, they can be 48K or 88 too, but those are very rare.
I'm reading it backwards. Yeah, 24 or 44, depending on how they upload it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they're
That's
getting
better.
better about it, but it's going to be a while, and it takes a lot of data.
Oh,
is a
that's why
ton.
streaming won't work because the pipelines are choked.
Oh yeah, no.
So you can't get a high thing. So I guess what I'm saying to you people out there is if you like a performer,
Buy their CD.
buy their CD.
100%.
I'm serious. They make so much more money on a CD than they do on any streaming platform, any YouTube platform. It's ridiculous how little a musician makes. So I strongly encourage, go to their live shows, tip them. That's another thing. You can tip them because they very rarely make a lot of money at the venues. I mean, some of that's not the owner's fault. It's just,
it's just the
what
way
it is. But definitely albums, buy their CDs,
buy their merch. if
buy
they
their
have it.
merch, support art. Because if you don't, we're seeing a lot of great players and stuff just drop out of the business because you can't make a living at it. It's very difficult, So my plug for fellow musicians, go out there, buy their stuff.
No, absolutely. And honestly, I think that is a great note to end on. I appreciate you coming out.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure to have you. I want to thank Nick J in the back for last minute
Hi,
coming out,
Nick.
helping out with the cameras and the audio for me. Since
Can you make me look good, Nick?
Oh, that's still my job. I still do the editing. Don't
Oh,
worry.
I got to suck up to you.
Yeah.
You're such a handsome man.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, this has been Songwriter Sunday. If you want more of Dave, we have the episode with Smokey Joe's coming out here real soon, Forge Jam Night, and you can catch him on that. Otherwise, this has been Songwriter Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.